All right, so all of the games on the Roblox platform are made with Roblox Studio, and um, Roblox Studio gives us what's cool about it is it gives us these templates and objects, okay, that we don't have to code, and um, all we are doing is just changing the properties of these objects that Roblox gives us. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
um, I always start off when I have a new student, having them get used to the controls as well. So one of the objects that Roblox gives us is a camera. So,
Yeah.
and we can move it around with WASD and rotating with right
Oh,
click.
WSCD, WASD, and then the mask too, just to turn it.
Yes, right click and hold just to rotate.
Okay. Now, what happens if you go off the map? You know the silver tiles you see there. What if you go
hmm
beyond that? How do you get it back to the default line?
So I can select any physical. So some of these objects have a physical representation in the game, and if it does, I can select it by dragging a box, and I can press F
Mm-hmm.
to focus on that object or that group of objects that I've selected.
Okay.
All right. So, um, one of the first objects that students get to use and will definitely probably be present in the game is the part. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and so we can add this object in by clicking on a button at the top called the part.
Okay.
And
Does it
so
matter which object is selected, or it can be any object?
so oh yeah, I didn't select any object yet, but if you
Oh,
want to
okay.
select an object, you can click it with the left click, and
Mm-hmm.
then it'll highlight to show you it's selected.
No,
Um,
I meant like as soon as you click the part, the little drop down carrot sign that's there. Does it
oh
matter
yes,
which? Yeah.
so I just added the block, but yeah, we could definitely add in objects of other shapes as well.
Oh, okay.
If we to make different structures. So Roblox does have some modeling, really limited modeling capabilities. I
Mm-hmm.
remember I remember that you actually had some Blender experience too. But yeah, this is much more limited than Blender. So
Mm-hmm.
so now so we can change the properties, okay, of and many objects in a game without code using this properties window. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so and then some of the properties of the part object we can change are like the color.
The color.
Um, Another cool one that students like is the material. So one cool one is like neon, which gives
Mm-hmm.
things like a glow. Another cool property is transparency. I can make
Mm-hmm.
things invisible or visible. Um, there's other ones too. Like I can change the size. So if I want to make this like wider, I probably make this instead of x being 4, I'd make this 10. Okay,
Yeah.
and so
Okay, this
those are some of
underneath
the.
transform.
Hmm.
Is it underneath
Yes,
transform?
transform exactly. So the
Okay.
properties are grouped under sections, and so
Mm-hmm.
appearance, data, transform,
Okay.
and so um, we can also with objects that have a physical representation specifically, like the
Mm-hmm.
part and the spawn location, we can use these four tools up here to manipulate them. So if I want to, I can change the position using the properties, but I can also just change the position by dragging. I can
Yeah.
change the position also with the move tool. The move tool is kind of similar, except I can
Mm-hmm.
move it specifically on an
It's
axis.
just X, Y, Z. The
Exactly,
move
yeah.
tool. Yeah.
And I can also rotate as well. All right. And and then there's other tabs too. So we have the home, model, tab, test, view, and plugins. So home and model is
Mm-hmm.
usually what we're going to use for um, um, when making a Roblox game. You want as much as possible to be able to add in the objects you need before you code, and so
Mm-hmm.
home and model are used to add in objects, modify them with properties, and then just get them ready, and then the code is used for changing them like on the fly while the game is running. So, and we'll
Yeah.
talk more about that later. So um, if we wanted to test sort of what we've made here, we haven't made much. I can go to the test
Mhm.
tab and click this play button in the top left,
Yeah.
and then um, we can move around with very similar controls like W, A, S, and D. Right
Oh,
click.
it's nice. It's nice that it has a preset where the animation of the player is already done for you.
Yes, animations are done, gravity is done, physics is done, so much is
It
done.
makes it easier because with other game engines, you have to do that all by yourself.
Yes, exactly, exactly. That's why Roblox is definitely my favorite. All right, so so what Roblox says, you just focus on changing the properties of these parts. Okay, you don't have to worry about any of the other stuff, which is cool, but um, take um, take lots of attention and focus away from actually making the game that you want. So so now um, we haven't talked about an object that allows us to add code into our game. So far we've only seen this part in spawn location.
Mhm.
We can see all of the objects in our game using the Explorer window. So um, the Explorer window shows us a few here. So workspace, the workspace object is like a directory. A lot of these objects are
Yeah.
just directories, um,
Mhm.
but the workspace directory contains everything that we can see. The player can physically see. And so
Mhm.
the camera is what we're looking through. The base plate is this big gray thing. This part here we
Yeah.
added in spawn location.
So the base plate, does that act like? Oh, you mean the base plate is the big gray tiles? What's
It's a
that thing that looks like a shuriken or something in the middle there? That sun looking thing? Yeah, that.
This is a spawn location. So if you notice when
Oh,
I press
spawn
play,
location.
I spawned on top of here. So if there's a spawn location in the game will move the every player that enters your game will move to one of these spawn locations.
Mhm.
Okay, if we did not have this here, we would just we'd be placed in the middle of the map.
Oh, okay.
So some objects have default behavior, or basically every single one of them do. So like we did not have to code. I did not have to code this spawn location to put me here. That's just one of the default behaviors of these objects
Mhm.
too. That's cool. So
Yeah.
now I want to add a script into my game. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna click on the plus on workspace here
Okay.
and click on script. Okay, and now this
Mhm.
object allows me to have an editor.
Yeah. Oh, I see. So it has this built-in editor. Is it also a compiler as well too?
It compiles it, like yeah, it
Mhm.
compiles it and runs it. You don't have to do any of that yourself. hmm
Okay.
So okay, so now with our script, okay, it always starts off with default this print hello world. So
Yeah.
another
Boilerplate.
exactly. So another window we have is this output window. So
Okay.
if I were to play my game,
So my question is that mine is showing without that output window. How do I bring that up?
okay, good question. So if I want to get the Explorer, the properties, and the output, they're all
Mhm.
called our views. If I
Mhm.
want to uh, bring back a view that I do not have, or bring one
Yeah.
up that I never had, I can go to my view
Mhm.
tab and
Mhm.
click it.
Okay. So let's see. Output. All right. I see it now. All right. I see an output now.
Nice.
Let's
You can
see. Script analyst, command bar, output. Yeah. So mine looks is how old is your version of Roblox? Is it the newest one?
It's the newest one, yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
is
So
yours light
mine.
mode?
Yeah. I'm in light mode.
Did you wanted to change it?
Just changing the mode changed like the icons and stuff.
No, it just changes whether it's. Wait, so are your icons different than mine?
Yeah, mine are different. That's why I was asking if yours was like a different version of Roblox Studio. So what I'm seeing on my, maybe can I show you mine?
Sure. Go ahead, share your screen.
All right, so this is what mine looks like right now.
Oh, I think you're sharing Roblox Studio.
Oh, Roblox
Share,
Studio. Oh,
you
okay.
gotta
Hold
share the
on.
screen. Mhm.
Let's see. How do I stop sharing? Your stream share your screen. Let's see. Share your screen. Change windows. Script Roblox. Yeah, I'm supposed to be showing Roblox Studio right now, right?
Let me see. You know, it's so weird because I see like
Yeah, see that? That's
I
it right there.
see
Yeah.
your screen here, but then I can't. Let me try stop watching and watch again. Okay, there we go. Oh, it keeps showing this base plate.
It is maybe because you're streaming yours. Maybe turn yours off and then look at mine. Try that. Did it work?
No, maybe.
Something
Try
says
again.
live. Why
Try.
is that's so weird? It's like on the preview, I seen the preview of the editor, but now I see like this game running in the background. That's what I'm not doing right now. Like I,
Yeah,
I
it's
turned
so
that off.
weird. Can you try stop sharing again? Maybe share again. Maybe that'll fix it.
Yeah. All right. All right. So screen share screen. Nope. It's
It's
showing the game engine and
so
not the editor for
strange.
some reason.
Okay. Maybe you could take a screenshot and then just send me what your icons look like.
All right. Hold on.
And this is just a static image, it looks like. It's not even what you're actually sharing. It's just sharing. It's like a static image, right?
Yeah, it's not running. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's so strange.
The editor, I have the editor on, but it's not running the actual. See, this is what it looks like here. I'm sending it to you now.
Okay.
It's on the right side.
Oh,
See
okay. I
it?
think your icons are you're on a smaller screen. It seems like. Are you on a laptop?
Yeah, I'm on a size 14 laptop.
Yeah. So it's gonna look different just because of the size difference. But other than that, um, so you're not gonna get the names of the icons, I don't think, because it doesn't have room to display
Mhm.
the names.
Mhm.
But you can mouse over it and it'll show you the names as well.
Oh, okay.
And then you can go ahead and also close toolbox. So there's some views that are just cluttering our view right now. So you can close the toolbox, close the terrain editor,
Yeah.
and
All right, so I can close the toolbox and the terrain editor.
yes,
All right, so I'm gonna close that. Just hitting the X button, right?
yes, to close the
Oh,
view.
okay. All right. All right, I got it.
All right, let me share my screen again. All right, and we are back in our script here.
Okay.
And so, whenever we see, um, so Roblox has really good, I think, syntax highlighting. So any
Mhm.
global variables or like global functions, like or any other names that we instantly have access to, are going to be in light blue,
Mhm.
and strings are going to be in green.
All right.
Um,
My print line statements, built-in syntax. That's in brown, and then the strings are in purple.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's let's change our studio settings real quick. So to change our studio settings, I can go to File,
Mhm.
and there's a button that says Studio Settings,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna search up
Script editor.
Theme, and we're gonna make the theme dark.
Oh, theme. Theme. Let's see.
There's a filter at the top where we can just type in the.
Mhm. Oh, I see it. I see it now. Yeah, I got it. All right. Yeah.
Okay, and so now uh, the syntax highlighting should be similar to mine, I think.
Yeah, it's similar now.
Cool, cool. So, um, Lua is, I think, very similar to like or at least like with a lot of the uh, introductory programming concepts, it's very similar to like Python and
Yeah,
C.
I see some Python similarity because like the print is the same thing Python would use.
Mm-hmm.
Is it apple case, snake case, or Pascal case?
So Roblox uses Pascal case. Okay, I
Okay.
think is Pascal case this one.
Is yeah.
Okay, so Roblox uses Pascal case to describe the names of the objects in our game. So we see spawn
Mhm.
location, base plate part. Okay, these have Pascal case, and then
Yeah.
we can use camel casing for regular variables. So if I said
Mhm.
num1, I could say 10, and then num2, or I don't know why I'm using text for that, but yeah, num1, num2 is 5. And then I have my operators, so num1 plus
Mhm. Plus like
num2,
num2 equals 15.
and
And
then
print num3.
I have my strings, and then I have my booleans, okay, and then um, oh yeah, so and also Roblox does not have float or integer or any of that stuff. Roblox just
So it doesn't have any types.
um it does have types, you just don't have to declare them, but
Mhm.
it mixes all the number types into one type called number. So
Okay.
and then Roblox just decides based on what it looks um um like based on the number you have whether it's gonna behave as a float or not. But
Mhm.
it just considers it all number for the student.
Okay.
And so then um I think these are them all. And so and then for programming constructs, I think the Lua manual is great for just if you want to see what a programming construct looks like in Lua,
Mhm.
like the while loop
Yeah.
or if statement or if condition, then or I didn't define condition yet, so I just need to do that. And you'll notice for the while loop here, this is also condition, but I could just put the value here as well.
Mhm.
So, and so yeah, the manual is great for um, uh, just figuring out. Okay, this is figuring out what a programming construct looks like, and
All right.
and I'm trying to think here. Functions. We can create functions by saying the word function and then its name, and then after we say its name, open parentheses, close parentheses. If you notice, every single block structure has an end.
Yeah.
And so we can also have they can be kind of nested. So if
So here's my question.
mm-hmm.
Is it also similar because I see like N and N is basically acting like the ending bracket, right? The
Exactly.
ending. Yeah. So is it in a sense where these statements have to be indented in order for the compiler to recognize that it's part of that method or no?
They don't have to be indented. So for
Okay.
example, this inner block I can move back here. Um, um, yeah, so it's not white space. This is not like Python. So
Oh, okay.
or like, yeah, that's like the one feature, or that's one of several features I guess that's not that it does not share with Python. So yeah,
Mhm.
it does not care about white space. It does need the end here. So if I get rid of this end, then um, it sees that. So this function will, or this the script sees that this end belongs to the f, but it does not see an end for this function here. And
Mhm.
then if we put an extra end, then it's also saying, all right, nothing is taking this one. So Um, so that's functions, and then they can be called by saying their name like this.
Okay.
And then, of course, if we had inputs here, then we can just um, we can pass them. We can define the inputs here, and then pass
Yeah.
them in here. And then,
So you can define the type. Is that the type, the string, and then it doesn't need like the variable name?
oh, I should have just said no. I'm not defining the type. I'm just
Oh.
defining what the input is, so
Oh,
that we
okay.
can print desired string. Yeah, no type declarations at all.
Mhm.
I think they
Okay.
actually added like a optional, some like rudimentary type declaration features. Since larger teams are working on Roblox games now, and so they need like
Mhm.
more type safety in their projects. But yeah. So I think that's like all of the like basic constructs that's specific, that is like for Lua, but not specific to Roblox. Okay,
Mhm.
so so now let's say I wanted to um, program this block to become transparent,
Yeah.
dot transparent, and I want to do this on a loop.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm gonna add a script into this part here. Okay,
Okay.
um, the the technical way I could say it is I want to add a script as a child of the part.
Mhm.
And so um, one of the concepts that I always make sure to not only explain once to my students, but like explain it every chance I get, and I also like
Mhm.
check them on their understanding often too, is like I'll ask them how many children does workspace have, or what is the parent of spawn location, or um, what is a descendant of workspace. So difference between child and descendant, and difference between parent and ancestor. And
Yeah.
so because when I if I when I want to make a reference, I want to make a reference for this part right here in my code. We
Mhm.
have to understand um, those concepts. And so, for example, to make a reference for the part, okay, I'm just gonna say part, and making this variable have Pascal case because it's gonna represent a a, uh, an actual Roblox object,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna say that it's equal to script dot parent. Right. So script is a a global variable, okay, that
Mhm.
represents the script that we're typing in. Okay.
Yeah. So is
And
that basically the name of the script?
no, so I could change the name of the script to um, blinking. Oh, one thing I forgot to do actually is we're gonna change the name property of our part here to blinking block,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna change the name. So I could change the name of the script to blinking script, but the global variable that refers to the script itself that I'm typing in is still just script.
Mhm.
And so this script has a property called parent, and this parent says it's the blinking block, which makes sense because the script we see is a child. And we see that Roblox indicates what is the children of what by making this indentation here that I always
Yeah.
make sure that my students recognize. So so now that we've defined the part, I have now access to all of the parts, or I should name this blinking block. So definitely one thing I always do now, I didn't do at the beginning, is make the variable name have the exact same name as the object that we're trying to do something with, just so the
Mhm.
kids can see the link better. And so um, I want to change the transparency back and forth on a loop. So I'm gonna add a while loop. Okay. And the first statement of this loop is going to change the transparency property of the blinking block. So to do this, I say blinking block dot transparency, and I set that equal to 1. And then I want to pause. Okay, so Roblox has a function called wait, and I like it's
Mm-hmm.
called that because it's similar to the Scratch's wait, or they
Uh-huh.
both have similar name. And this function takes in an input, which is how long we want to wait, and then we're just going to do the opposite in the next second. We always make sure that the students understand that we have to have this wait, last wait here, because if we did not, then the loop would instantly, it would set the transparency to 0 and then instantly pop up to the top and set it to 1, and so we never actually get to see the transparency go to 0.
Yeah.
So we need to wait there. And so with these few lines of code, we get
How do you save the script?
it is saved automatically.
Oh, it saves automatically. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so then, so instead of pressing play this time, let's say I just want. So it takes time for our character to load in. So
Mm-hmm.
what I can just do instead is just run the scripts. Okay. What's going on? Oh, I forgot to get rid of the while loop from the other script. So we just got a Stack Overflow here. So.
Yeah, I see it blinking on mine.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and so yeah, now we see here that I had an idea. I wanted a part to blink. Okay, and so then I thought, what objects do I need to accomplish this? Right. There are many objects, but the part seems like it'd be perfect because it is a block and it has a transparency property. And then I thought about what properties of this object can I change to accomplish the idea, and the only property we need to change is transparency. And so then where the programming comes in is we needed a programming construct that loops things, and um, and so the while loop does that for us. And okay, any other questions there?
I don't think so. I think this is pretty straightforward. You got the name of the object, and you can
Mm-hmm.
rename it to whatever you want. And then you said that you assign it to the script, which is global, and then you're calling the parent class.
Parent property.
Oh, the parent
So,
property. Okay. All
mm-hmm.
right.
And then um, and then continue.
And then it says while the loop is true, take the object and then call the transparency method and then set it to 1, and then call the wait method, set it to 1 second, and then call the parent transparency again, set it to 0, set it to the wait method to 1 second.
Yes.
Okay.
Transparency. That was basically almost 100% correct. But transparency is a property,
Okay,
and
property.
so any of these properties that we see here, okay, we
Mm-hmm.
can access in our code. Um, and transparency. So these different properties can be changed using different data types. So transparency is a number from 0 to 1, and so we must give it a number data type. Okay, this would not work
Mm-hmm.
if I gave it true. But we see that there's some things that have a check mark. So let's say um, another cool property, okay, is let's actually first let's anchor our blinking block here. Okay, so the anchored property, okay, prevents our part from falling from gravity. So
Mm-hmm.
if I disable anchored here, it's gonna fall. But if I and notice how even though it goes invisible, it doesn't like fall to the ground. This is because
Yeah.
it still has can collide on. Um, but um, if I unanchor it and I turn can collide off, then this is just gonna fall through and we're never gonna see it again.
Mhm.
And so let's say I also wanted to code it so that when it's invisible, okay, it's gonna stay anchored the whole time, but we're gonna be able to walk through it when it's invisible. So anything with a check mark here is either true or false. Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna say blinking block dot. So I want the can collide property, so I'm gonna say dot can collide, and we're gonna set this equal to um, false, because when it's invisible, we want it to be false, and then when the transparency is 0, we are visible. I'm gonna say blinking block dot can collide is equal to true. And so this time I'm gonna play here. So play here puts me where the camera is instead of at a spawn location. And then, so when it's there, I can't go through it, but when it
Mhm.
disappears, I can.
Oh, interesting.
hmm So, so yeah, anything with a check mark requires a boolean value. Um,
Mhm.
so for the name, if I want to change the name of this blinking block, I would need to change it using a string, and then um, everything else, okay, we have to change using not primitive data types but actual objects. So, um, which we will soon see. But before we do that, um, I want to um, put these lines in a function, okay, so that I can maybe understand and manage my code better. So we're going to create a function called make invisible. Okay, and all make invisible is going to do is it's going to set the transparency of the blinking block to 1 and the can collide to false. And then we're going to make another function called make visible. That's going to do the opposite. All right. And so, okay. Notice how, okay, so with the syntax highlighting, okay,
Mhm.
globals are light blue, properties, okay, are dark blue,
Yeah.
and then functions, okay, oh, okay, if it's a global function that we did not ourselves make, it's
Mhm.
going to be um, light blue,
Mhm.
and if it's or any global names at all are going to be light blue, regardless if it's a function or an object. But
Mhm.
functions that we make ourselves are going to be yellow, or this like a light yellow. And so I'm going to
Yeah.
call make invisible and then make visible here, and so it'll accomplish the exact same thing. So let's say um, I want to change. Okay, let's say I have another block and I want it to, or let's add a sphere this time.
Mhm.
Oh, actually, before we move on, okay, let's say I had a game where you had to step from like a bunch of these red stairs. In fact, I'm gonna make this smaller, or not stairs, but I guess blocks. And I'm gonna move this up and move this here. Okay, and so our game here is going to I want multiples of these blocks that the player has to jump from. Okay, and
Mhm.
um, we want the player to get to the end, okay, while these blocks are flashing. And we're actually going to
Yeah.
get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this can collide line in our function here because um, it's going to be impossible to do this game unless the player can be able to stand on them at all times. And so we don't have to rewrite this code again and again. Okay, what we can
Mhm.
do is duplicate our block by right clicking and clicking on the duplicate button. Okay, and our
Yeah.
new block, okay, has the same script as a child of it.
Mhm. But that's convenient.
Really convenient. I can also select both of these blocks here, and the
Mhm.
hotkey for duplicating is Command D on a Mac or Control D on a Windows,
Mhm.
and I can just duplicate the both of them. Or just poof. All right. And so then, if I wanted to test my game, I can go to the test and click this drop down and play.
Mhm.
Okay, and now I have to make it through this level. Okay, well, um, I'm being given this trick on the eyes. Okay, and maybe if I wanted to make it harder, I could make the jumps more. Okay, and
Yeah. What if is it possible when the blocks go transparent to make it where the can collide comes off so the player falls down through the block?
yes, that's what we had before.
Oh, okay.
But it would be impossible to do this level unless we did a flip flop. So maybe when every odd numbered block went invisible, every even number block would be visible. So,
Yeah.
uh, was that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah. Like
Okay, cool.
every so seconds the block turns on and one turns off.
So what we could do to accomplish that. So, unfortunately, if we have a bunch of code and we duplicate it, we can't modify it all at the same time. So
Mhm.
what I'm gonna do is just delete everything but these two. And let's say I close my script tabs here.
Yeah.
I can bring them back by clicking on the object and then double clicking on the script icon here.
Mhm.
And so for this one, I'm gonna keep it as normal. I want it to blink as normal, so I'm gonna close it. The second one, okay, I'm going to add a wait at the beginning of the script. So in this way, the script is not going to execute anything here until a second has passed, and by the time a second has passed, this one has already started blinking, and so we can
Mhm.
accomplish what we want. And then also, or I guess we need to modify the functions again so that they change the can collide again. So we're gonna add the line of code where we set the we change the can collide. And then I think we have to do it for the other one as well. Yep. All right. And so then, and actually, if we wanted to, oh, if we wanted to better understand what's going on here, I could call this blinking part, blinking block B,
Mhm.
and blinking block A, and then okay. Let's say I want to change every time I mention the word blinking block in my script, I want to change it with blinking block A. I can click on
Yeah.
this replace tool and
Mhm.
replace blinking block with blinking block A. So this does have some really good editor tools. I don't know if it's as good as VS Code, but it's still pretty good. Oh. I can also verify that I'm editing the correct script by right-clicking on these script tabs, and I wanted to show it
Mhm.
in Explorer. So, all right. So now, let me duplicate. All right. So this game is a lot harder now. During our camps, we actually had the students create a level like this, and I had a student who got pretty upset by this level that he just removed it. So, because you need a lot of patience to like jump right, because you have to preemptively jump before the time runs out. Oh, oh, jeez, yeah. So that's pretty fun. All right. Okay, so that's how we can change a property that has a primitive type for its value. But what if I want to change the color? Okay,
Yeah.
so let's make, or let's say, so a common game that I have my students first make is an obby, just so that they get the fundamentals of programming in Roblox Studio down. And so
Mhm.
an obby is short for an obstacle course, or you probably already know that since you played Roblox.
Yeah.
Um, and they usually have different checkpoints for each level. So, and for this level, we're gonna have spheres that change the different colors of the rainbow, and we're just gonna
Mhm.
have them ascending upwards, so the player has to jump from block to block. And I'm gonna call the name. I'm gonna name this part Rainbow Sphere, and we're gonna add a script into it again. It's probably a good idea to name scripts because you can search for a script easier in the Explorer too by just searching its name. So we're gonna call this Rainbow Script, and we're just gonna define our rainbow sphere again. I didn't have to put my script as a child of the rainbow sphere again. This is just the most convenient because I can just
Mhm.
reference what it is doing this. So this is referencing starting from the bottom and going up. Okay, but
Mhm.
I could also reference by starting from the top. So the root directory. So the root directory is the directory that's above all of these. Okay, and it's called game.
Yeah.
Um, and then if I want to go down to the next directory, which is workspace, I would say dot workspace. So notice how this highlights dark purple, and I use the dot, even though
Mhm.
workspace is not a property of the game. Workspace is
Yeah.
a child. So we use both the dot. We use the dot to refer to a property and children. And
Mhm.
so, and then the next final location would be the rainbow sphere. Now, a question that might have popped up is, what if there are multiple rainbow spheres in workspace? How would it know which one? And
Mhm.
um, the answer to that is it's just going to default to the first one, and
Yeah.
that's not good because then if you have 10, 20 scripts, they're all going to be changing the properties of just the first rainbow sphere. So that's why it's better to use the bottom up um, directory or description for rainbow sphere, because then no matter how many rainbow spheres we have, each script only has one parent, um, and
Mhm.
so that's how we should do that. And so now, again, we're gonna say, or let's this time start with functions. So Whenever I work with my students now, I always have them separate their code into variables. Okay. My boss has actually been telling me I should call this object references.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, but a lot of my students have not done object-oriented coding before, so uh, I mean, for a long time, I did not even tell my students to distinguish the difference between a variable like this
Mhm.
and then a variable like this, right? So this is object, this
Yeah.
is variable, but
That's an
um,
object. The other one is a primitive value variable.
exactly. So um, I don't think there's any merit in differentiating them. Okay, but when I explain to coaches, I differentiate them just so we have a deeper meaning of what's going on. Um,
Mhm.
but as for students, especially if they're younger, I don't think there's any merit in differentiating. So, so and then we say functions, and and then if we have some sort of programming construct, I have them make a comment for that as well. So we need
Yeah,
to
loops. So here's a question: is there anything called constants in the
uh
way?
no,
Okay.
or with the new type safe tools that Roblox has made. Okay,
Mhm.
Roblox made their own a language called Lua U, and
Yeah.
you can you can uh uh you can have this new const. I think you get access to this new const
Mhm.
keyword, kind of like JavaScript. So, but yeah,
Okay.
no constant types. And so we're gonna say function uh, change to red. Okay, and so we're gonna make this go to the colors of all the rainbow, and so we'll start with red. And what this is gonna do is we're gonna say rainbow sphere dot grit color is gonna then equal um, uh, grid color dot new. Okay, so any data type that is not a boolean, number, or string, okay, is um, a data type that represents an object. So the grid color, we need grid color objects, and so a lot of these objects have their um, own constructors. So
Mhm.
this is the so brick color is a this is the class name for it.
Yeah.
So if in Java you'd say something like new brick color, okay,
Yeah.
but here, okay, we say that the brick color class has a method called new, and we're just calling new, and
Mhm.
so and then this constructor takes in a string, which is the name of the color we want. So we're gonna say really red, and and then if I wanted to make the next color, so we could say, or actually just verify that this works. So if I call this function here, and I'm gonna anchor this, okay, and it changes it to red. And so we're gonna make another function called change to blue. Honestly, this is gonna become tedious. We're gonna say make a function called um, rainbow, and I'm just gonna duplicate this. We need 7, and so unfortunately we do have to use the interesting names of that Roblox chose. Or no, the next one is orange. And so we don't have like just an orange, like we just have neon orange or daisy orange or bright orange. Um,
Yeah.
so indigo, and then violet. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna say while true do rainbow, and then wait. Oh, okay. So we need to add wait statements in between these, or else it's gonna assign these colors before we even get a chance to see what's going on. Okay. And then, all right, since I added this wait right here, I do not need to add another wait over here.
Yeah.
Um, but, so yeah. So, and then if I were to run the code, we get the color to change. And then I'm gonna make this neon. So if I
Ah.
then play here, I have this super simple level, but it's kind of cool because it has a little light show to it. All right, so everything that we just go through here is what I try to accomplish in a trial with the student as well. Or usually we
Mhm.
don't get this far with the spheres, but at least with the blinking block.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, any questions?
Yeah. I noticed a lot on the Roblox games. There's these games that are called like the transfer games. You've seen those ones?
Transfer games,
Yeah, like the
or
transfer.
do you mean like they just like you go into them and then just move you to another game?
No, it's the ones where like if you touch an object, it turns you into like an animal or something.
Morph. Oh yes, yes, yeah. So, I actually have a video on my YouTube channel that covers how we'd accomplish that. But
Mhm.
basically, um, Roblox and many game engines, they treat the player, the character, and the camera as three different objects. So um, there's so in this player's object here, we have /73 the player, and
Yeah.
then in workspace we have /73 the character. So this is the physical
Mhm.
representation, and then we also have the camera that allows me to see. And so
Yeah.
um, the player controls or possesses a character, and so by default, I possess the character that corresponds to my avatar, but we can
Yeah.
definitely change while the game is running it to another character. So I can possess like a Mario or a Steve character. Um,
Mhm.
but I'm definitely gonna link. I'll link to you my YouTube channel, and then that video goes over that. But but yeah, morphs are definitely a pretty cool a cool feature of Roblox.
Yeah.
All right, and I'll also send you this place file. Or do you need it or
I
um
don't think so. I think I pretty much understand what it does.
got it. All right, so we can save our game to Roblox, okay? So that
Mhm.
we can access it from whatever computer by clicking Save to Roblox as, and I'm just gonna create call this game um, or first Avi, okay? And then we can click on Create,
Yeah.
and then from now on, I will always just click Save to Roblox because I don't want to click. I don't want to create a new game anymore. I just want to save this. If I want it
Mhm.
to be on my profile, I can publish to Roblox, and and then I can go to my game settings now and make
Yeah.
this. public.
Mhm.
And then yeah, that is about it. Um, so going forward, what you're probably going to be doing is asking yourself, okay, there's this new object here. Like, what is this? Let's see. Ooh, what is this new tool object? Okay, you're probably going to be going to the Roblox developer hub page. Okay. So to understand Lua, you go to the Lua's dictionary or manual. But to
Mhm.
understand the Roblox objects, Roblox Developer Hub has an API page for every single object. So how it's
Okay.
organized is that at the top, it describes the default behavior that we talked about. So
Mhm.
if I were to go to the spawn location, um, okay, um, it explains how it determines where a player goes when they die or they come into the game. And then I also get the properties here. So,
Yeah.
and then these um, properties tell me the data type that it needs to be changed, right? So this team color property here, see, it needs a brick color,
Mhm.
and these other ones just uh, need a. Or if you notice here, Roblox differentiates between int and bool, or sorry, int
Yeah.
and float. Um, but that's because like if you put in a number that is not an int, so if I put in 17.3, so that's a number, okay.
Mhm.
It's going to be the point three is going to be truncated to just 17. So and so it's just letting you know like the how the number should look. So the number should look like an integer when we put it in. But so yeah, if I had any question about how to create these data types, right, I can click on it and then it'll take me to the constructor for the data type, and also tell me any other information about uh, this data type too. And then uh, so yeah, okay. So properties. There's other stuff about objects that I have not talked about. So like the functions related to an object or or the events. So if we met again, okay, that's
Mhm.
what we'd be talking about. Um, but I also have some stuff on my channel too, if you prefer to look at that. But
Okay.
yeah, that's about it.
All right. All right. Well, thank you for showing me. I appreciate it.
No problem.